Hello everyone, I'm here today with a new video, and this one is a flip through. This is trip number 2 to Chicago for 2024. And if you've seen my other videos, you know that for this year I decided to do all my Chicago trips in one album. So far I have the first one I did, which was in April. I have this one, which was in June. I have another one coming in August. It turns out I am actually going to go again in October, but that will be a separate album because it's all about like Halloween stuff. I'm meeting a friend there, so we're going to do quite a few Halloween themed things, and there's no way that that's going to fit in here. So that will be kind of its own thing, especially because like I'm meeting a friend there, so it's not like this where it was either solo travel or I was with my husband. So first off, you can see this was my opening page, and this configuration is somewhat new to me where I have a 3x8 on one side and then the two 3x4s, but I like it. I think it's fun. I like being able to have a longer photo or a longer pocket card there, so I'm glad that worked out. And I kept it very simple. I just used a puffy sticker here. I did a quick stamp here and filled in my flight number, and then just journaling about why I was going, because it was specifically to see an art exhibit. I did end up doing other things, but it was mainly for the exhibit. And then here I have pictures from my hostel, and I have stayed at this one before, so it may look familiar. I actually stayed here again when I was there in August, so I just explained why I chose it for this trip, because sometimes I do stay in the Loop. And then you could see my room here. This is the room I chose, so I had this whole bottom bunk to myself, and it was lovely. And then I thought it was kind of funny that it's called the Getaway Hostel, and I had a card that said Getaway, so I wanted to use that like as many times as possible, just for fun. And because my flight landed kind of early evening, I didn't have that much time to do anything Friday night. So I decided to basically just get to my room, get settled, do a little bit of work, and then I would go out and get dinner. And so I found this place near the hostel, a couple blocks away, and it's called the Fat Shallot, and they do kind of specialty sandwiches. So I was already on board with that, but then I saw that they did a gin and tonic slushie. And especially in summer, I can be a gin and tonic girl. There's something about the bite of gin, just that flavor that I really like. So that sold me. So I went down there, I did my order online, and I just went and picked it up and took it back to my room. And then I just kept it simple. I have 3 kind of pieces of ephemera here to designate, like, this one's happy hour because I had a drink, and then this one's for the food. That's all I really needed to do there. It wasn't anything crazy. So for this layout, I have a 3x8, and I do have a flip on here, and I wrote a little bit of journaling here about I love this place, and it was a little bittersweet because the last time I was there, I went with my friend Becky, who passed away. So it was kind of tough to be in there, but I ordered the same thing I got before and just sort of did it in her honor, and it was tough, but I did it. That's about all I can say about it. But I wanted to at least make the pictures fun, so I did find a cute coffee cup with matching colors, and then I did a little selfie there trying to like wake myself up in the morning. And then after that, it was off to the art museum. I wanted to be there right when they opened, which was 11, I think, on Saturday. It was 11, so not like I had to get up super early or anything, but I wanted to be there as early as possible because I knew this exhibit had been very popular. It was getting towards the end, and I did not want to have to deal with massive crowds if I could avoid it. And it turned out to be a very, very good decision. So I did get there right on time. I used some museum stuff I have. So this one just says Museum Day, very easy. And then I wanted to include my ticket since I had it. And so I just really tried to match the colors, find things that were red and black, and then use the ticket as the main focus on the bottom portion. So this is inside the Georgia O'Keeffe exhibit that I was there to see. So I got a big picture of the massive sign on the wall. And then this is one of the paintings that was in there. And I really just kept it simple. Another puffy sticker that had a fun phrase on it. And then I had this digital file. So I printed that out, cut it out, and it worked perfectly with these colors. So I really just kind of lucked out that all of that ended up matching. And then on this side, same kind of thing. I just happened to have a card that was the same color as the front of the brochure that was featuring the Georgia O'Keeffes. So it worked out very well. And then I happened to see this photo. or I'm sorry, this painting inside the exhibit, took a photo of it, and you know, all those colors worked really well together. And even my thin washi that I used, hopefully the camera is picking it up, it's got a gold foil star or asterisk, depending on what you want to call it, that was on there, and I felt like that just worked perfectly with what I had going here. And I was still moving through the exhibit here, and I loved some of the quotations that they had on the wall throughout the exhibit. So I decided I wanted to scrap that one. So again, I just took colors that were from here and tried to work them into everything else. And again, total luck that this was one of the featured paintings, and that color scheme matched this one. So I was able to put those all together, and it just worked out. Again, puffy sticker, one phrase label, you know, a couple of metallic stars, and I really didn't need anything else. And this layout shows this painting, which was the focus. This was what was on the front of the brochure, actually. And so maybe they consider it to be the most well-known, but personally, I had never seen it before or was aware of it, so it was new to me. And I loved it, so I wanted to have that on its own 4x8. And again, I just did some ephemera pieces to embellish it, matching the colors. And I think it came out really well. And then once I was done with that, I had enough time before I had to get to the theater, because I actually scored cheap tickets to go to a play at 3 o'clock that afternoon in Lincoln Park. So I was kind of, you know, on a timeline. I was watching, but it wasn't like I felt like I had to rush. And I've been to this museum a lot, so I didn't need to hit all the things that I might normally do. I wanted to see the O'Keeffes, and then I thought, you know what, I've got the time. I'm going to go to the Impressionist galleries, and of course, I had to pay a little visit to Monet. And then here's just the back side of that. I have 2 more featured there. And then this card, I did some gold ink splattering with the Nouveau Mica Mist. And this took forever to dry for some reason, and I smudged it a little bit. But I think it's okay. It's not anything where I feel I need to redo it, so I'm going to keep it like that. And then here, I have another Monet. And the water lilies are some of my favorites ever in any museum. Whenever I see them, they just, I don't know, they make me happy. They lift my spirits. So I wanted to have that on one side. And then on this side, I just did a quick selfie in there, and I kind of matched some of the pastel colors in there. So I thought, okay, why not do it? And it wasn't overly crowded yet in here either. And so I thought, all right, I'm going to do a selfie. And all I really needed was that little pendant, and it matches some flowers in the background, but it also matches this stuff. So when it just sits in the album, it all actually goes together. And over here, this was, you can kind of see here, it says the Steppenwolf. That's the name of the theater in Lincoln Park. And I have had a set of these drama faces for a long time, and I had 2 sets left, and I thought, okay, here's my chance. I really don't have anything else to put on this card. I'm going to use them here. And here on the back side is a picture of the box office out front. I just used one quick phrase there, and then I did a lot of journaling here about the show. And I just colored that in with like a marker that I had, a Stampin' Up marker, and it worked out fine. Now on this side, I actually wanted to use the actual program. So because this is like a local theater, it's not one of the Broadway shows or venues in Chicago, I wanted to just use the brochure that they were handing out. So there's probably more information like this part that I didn't have to keep, but I love the fact that Laurie Metcalf starred in this play, and she's actually considered part of the ensemble for this theater because she helped found it. There she is right there. So I kind of wanted to keep it because I saw her on stage in something I never would have expected, and it's one of the best pieces of theater that I've ever seen in my life. So on the back, I had this theater paper, and I just cut it to fit the program. I used my ticket that I had so I could remember here's where I sat. I got it as part of the 20 for 20 program. It's got the date and time on there, which is awesome. I love having all of that info available. And then on this side, this is just like when it was done. I was coming back to my room for a while before I went out to dinner, and I just freaking love like all the houses in Lincoln Park, and so I wanted to showcase those. And this shows my dinner later that night. And again, I like when it gives me date and time. And you can see here, like it shows my check number. This is when I picked up, but it even shows when I ordered it. So I ordered at 8:12. I picked it up at 8:22. So this was only like 2 blocks from where I was staying. I left immediately after my order. I didn't think it was gonna be ready, but when I got there, it was. So yay, easy peasy. So I took it back to my room, and all I had to do really was add this piece of ephemera on the picture, and that's all I did for that side, and I think that's totally fine. And then this was now Sunday morning, because all I did that night was I didn't go out anywhere since it was a matinee. I could have gone out in the evening, but really getting dinner was all I wanted. I had work to do, sadly, so I was doing that on a Saturday night, but it has to be done. So this is now Sunday morning, and so this is just when I was crossing over the river. I had a good view of the Sears Tower, or Willis Tower if you will, so I took a photo looking up, which was awesome, and I just used part of a border sticker I had there, so it was very simple and easy. And then over here again, another view over the river, and all I did was put on this chipboard sticker and put a staple in it just for visual interest. And I love the fact that I was able to have a 4x4, and I actually made this myself. It came as a 4x6. I cut it off to where I wanted it and just used it that way, and then punched the holes a little bit differently because, as you can kind of see, this is not perfectly centered. I wanted it to be on these rings instead. So I was able to do all of that myself, which I love. And then this is the last layout here. This was me catching the train home. So I flew down, took the train home, and I did the Borealis route in business class, which was awesome. More room to stretch out. It's quieter. I really liked the experience. So I just put on the little tag there that says Sunday, did a selfie. Then inside, me, myself, and I, since I traveled alone, and I happened to have this little train-related piece of ephemera, so why wouldn't I use it? So I put that on there, and then I just did a screenshot of my boarding pass because it has all the good info on it that I don't want to forget. So there you go. Now I have completed Chicago Trip 1 and Chicago Trip 2. Soon I will be working on Chicago Trip 3. I don't know when that'll be posted, but you'll see it when it's done. Thanks for watching.